Welcome to The Real Deal. We're here in front of the new Ikea store in RedHook, Brooklyn. After several years of planning and controversy, the Swedish retailer finally opened its doors to the public. Many residents lobbied to bring the 346,000 square foot megastore here. Some even camped out in front of the store before it opened. But others are not welcoming the new blue and yellow box store. Neighborhood activists sued a few years back to prevent the development, saying there would be increases in traffic and environmental problems. Today we'll talk to managers of Ikea, some brokers, and a developer about how this area is going to accommodate the massive new furniture store and the impact it will have on nearby retail and residential development. Let's go. So we have this new opening of the Ikea store in RedHook, and it seems to be a lot of people here. Tell us, how do you think this is going to affect development in the area?
I think it's going to positively affect both development, retail markets, the multifamily, everything in the area. I mean, if you just look at the numbers alone, Ikea's original expectations were for approximately 14,000 shoppers on a Saturday and Sunday combined. They actually recently upped that number to 18,000, which I think will actually exceed 20,000.
You mentioned previously that there are some people who own huge blocks of land here. Can you talk a little bit about that?
A lot of people viewed it for a long time in the past as a secondary, tertiary market, when it was actually a very up-and-coming market that's been gentrifying and changing over the past couple of years. But one of the very interesting things is for waterfront property in southwest Brooklyn, it's one of the only areas in probably all of New York City, the 5 boroughs, in a primary market where there's huge blocks of land that have been assembled by a few different landowners. There
was a lot of controversy about this store coming into the neighborhood. A lot of people in the neighborhood did object to it. First of all, are any big box stores contacting you, or do you know of any other big box stores trying to come into the area, and what do you think their chances of success will be?
I think over time the controversy will be put to rest and people will be at ease. And in terms of other retail big box stores, I mean, if you look at retail development and the way it's done, I mean, people piggyback off other projects, and I think that you'll see complementing retailers looking into this neighborhood and trying to get a foothold.
Has your first day been good and up to your expectations?
Absolutely. Everything went very successfully here at Ikea Brooklyn on grand opening day. I would say it's consistent with our expectations. Certainly, you know, every day of the week is a different shopping pattern, and being here in a much more urban setting is different than perhaps out in the suburbs in New Jersey. But we're getting lots of good foot traffic, particularly in the middle of the day.
Okay, so you've been coming here for about 6.5 years getting ready for the store, and you've seen it from the ground up. Tell us a tiny bit about that.
We had a very lengthy approval process at the city level, the state, and the federal government. We had to do demolition, environmental cleanup of the land, the water, shoring up the waterfront, and then building the store, and here we are today.
Okay, so included in that preamble to the store, you had some controversy in the neighborhood about opening. Some people didn't want you to come here.
Well, we believe we addressed many of the concerns that came up in the process, actually throughout the approval process. There were some concerns about the number of customers visiting Ikea, so we agreed to implement a variety of transit options. And certainly, as experienced now that the store is open, the New York water taxis straight to Ikea Brooklyn, the MTA bus routes, the shuttles from the subway stations all have proven to be very successful.
Now, one of the criticisms, the early criticisms, was that this is a nice, beautiful, historic neighborhood and that you were going to ruin the whole character of the neighborhood and make it just sort of a drive-through for people coming directly to Ikea. So what do you think now?
We think we've actually enhanced the neighborhood because we've opened up the waterfront to all the residents of RedHook and, in fact, introduced the area to the rest of the city.
There was some controversy about opening the store among Brooklyn residents. Do you think that all that was just sort of talk and that Ikea should be here?
Yes, and so should Home Depot and other places that are big department stores to all be here.
Do you think this is a good thing for Brooklyn?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's great.
Why?
Well, because first of all, everybody has to do the Ikea Elizabeth, New Jersey thing, and this is obviously much more convenient.
So the new IKEA store opened. Do you think that's going to change business on Van Brunt Street?
Yeah, I do. I think that there's going to be a spillover of foot traffic here, and I think a lot of people are going to be enchanted with the neighborhood and want to explore more of the retail boutique stores on Van Brunt Street.
Now, thinking a little bit about asking rents for retail, let's say on this main drag, what are they now? Are they the same as they were when Fairway moved in?
Yeah, they are. They're about the same. They range from about $2,500 per month to $3,500 per month asking rents. And I think that a bunch of these places are starting to be developed and new businesses coming in. And I think they'll continue in that trend.
So at one point, the New York Post called this RedHook dead hook. What is making the change around? Is the fact that these big stores are moving in, or is there something else happening?
I don't think it ever was dead hook. I think people come in, they had high anticipation, high hopes for a new store opening every month, and it's just not going to happen that way. You know, it's going to be slow and sustainable growth, and that's what we have to look forward to.
More big box retail is going to come into the area, and do you think that's the most appropriate application for this area, or do you think a different type of retail should come in?
I don't think it's the most appropriate. I didn't think Ikea was the most appropriate to come in here. But that being said, I think it was a reasonable compromise considering that nothing was being done here, and this was left as a dilapidated Todd shipyard, which was boarded up with no access to the public.
Okay, what kind of developments do you think will be the most successful going forward in the next 5 years?
I think initially you're going to have retail development here because they're going to feed off each other. Other retail opportunities that are going to eye the IKEA traffic are going to say, hey, if we're next to IKEA, we'll be able to feed into that. It's a very strange thing. I remember when Fairway opened up, I was talking to people in the neighborhood, and I was laughing because I said, what do you think? Fairway's going to open up, and they said, oh, it'll be closed in a few weeks because who's going to come here to buy tomatoes?
So will the new IKEA jumpstart RedHook's residential and retail development, as supporters have said? Or will it be a character killer? Love it or hate it, we'll soon have the answers to those questions. I'm Jen Benepe for The Real Deal, and we'll see you next week.